Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you on here, and I hope you guys can try these mandalas and have a fun time doing it. So before we get started on the mandala design, I'm going to explain our tools. So the tools I use are color coded, so they have a color on the top of the tools. When you buy them off of Temu or Amazon, they usually just come clear. So first off, for the twirly tools, I do not use the green twirly for any of my tutorials, so you can set this one aside. As for the rods, the largest two rods, I, again, also do not use for any of my tutorials, but if you're doing like a bigger project on your own time, then of course you can use these. So now to help you understand what I have color coded, you can lay them out biggest to smallest. The biggest one, which is the green one, next size down, we have it marked as the blue stick. And then next size down after the blue is the white stick. After the white stick, it's the yellow stick. And then we have the pink stick. And then last but not least, trying to pick them up, is the black stick. And then of course we have the twirlies. These are self-explanatory. They are color coded already. You can color code them yourself. We use just nail polish on the tops of the tools. We can get started with the design now. So today we're going to be using this color palette. Paint color number 1 is Craft Smart White. Paint color number 2 is Folk Art Multi-Surface Apple Red. Paint color number 3 is Craft Smart Green. Paint color number 4 is Deco Art Americana Light Avocado. Paint color number 5 is Craft Smart Multi-Surface Radiant Gold, and this is a metallic paint. And paint color number 6 is Deco Art Americana Canyon Orange. Okay, so now we're gonna get started on the charcuterie board. The first thing that we're gonna do is the snowman and the Christmas tree, because we need to overlap those and they take time to dry. So we're gonna do the Christmas tree first. So we're gonna use the blue stylus and probably the white stylus. And you're gonna use paint color number 3. So we are going to do all of these snowman and Christmas tree above the chalk line. So don't really pay attention to the tape, that's for this side. We're doing it just above the chalk line. So once again, we're starting with the tree. So using the blue stylus bigger end. Make sure you get a lot of paint on there. And what we're gonna do, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to do one drag up like this from this kind of center point, and then on each side you're going to do 4 drags. So
See my chalk line? Is the light green on top of the dark green, or the dark green on top of the light green?
I'm gonna switch it because I think it'll look better with the dark green on top of the light green. Yeah. So that's kind of the base of your Christmas tree. You should have 9. So once you get the base, from this point, you're just going to keep layering the drags, and you're going to do it slightly more towards the center than the previous one. So kind of like a pyramid, you're gonna get closer and closer together as you do the drags. And then once you start getting up to the top and the drags are gonna get shorter and shorter, you wanna switch to the white stylus bigger end, and then to the smaller end once you get up to the tippy top. Next, we're going to move on to the snowmen. We're going to use the big black stick, the big pink stick, and the blue and the white stick. So the biggest snowmen are going to be the black stick for the bottom half and the pink stick for the top half. And then the next size down will be pink and blue. And then the smallest snowman will be blue and white. Okay, so just do as many as you want. I did 2 super big ones, and then I did 2 of the medium-sized ones with the blue and pink, and then 3 of the smaller ones. So just kind of disperse it however you want.
Can you hold up the charcuterie board and stuff? Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Also, once you put those dots, you're going to use the blue stylus to kind of spread around that paint so that there isn't one big glob right in the middle, because then it's going to be really hard to put our little black buttons onto it. So just kind of spread that paint around so there isn't a big blob in the middle, or a big bump in the middle. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and get started on the mandala part. We're going to start with the blue stick, and paint color 4. So this is going to be our center dot. So you want to try and center it as much as possible on this.
On the tape?
Yes. So this chalk line that's right next to the tape, that's kind of the halfway mark. So try to center your dot so that is like going through the middle of the dot. So half of your dot should end up on the tape. Next up, we're gonna take the pink stylus, bigger end, with paint color 1. I'm sorry, not bigger end, smaller end. And we are placing a dot basically where each of these chalk lines are. So as close to the middle dot as possible. Next up, we're going to take the pink stylus again, the bigger end, with paint color 2, and we are putting these dots in between the lines. So you should end up with 8 of these dots.
Is it bad if you have 10 red dots?
That's okay. Just for the next row that we're going to do, follow the chalk lines. 1 dot for each line.
Okay.
So that we get back on track.
Okay, I can try to do that.
Next up, we're going to take the white stylus, smaller end, with paint color 3. And we're putting these dots on each of the lines. Okay, next up, we're going to use the white stylus, bigger end, with paint color 5. And putting these dots in between the lines. Okay, next step, we're gonna use the black stick, the little black. Don't use the big one. And we're gonna use paint color 1. And we're gonna place these dots on each of the lines. Next up, we're going to take the pink stylus, smaller end, with paint color 4. And I'm doing a little drag in between these white dots that we just did. If you don't have enough room in between the dots, just place a dot. Instead of dragging it through, just place a dot.
The small one.
Next up, we're going to take the black stick with paint color 2.
Wait a minute, black, okay. Little guy again.
Yep, and we're going to put these dots right below the little drags that we just did. Or in other words, in between the lines. Okay, next step, we're gonna use the pink stylus, and we're gonna use paint color 3. So starting with the bigger end, you're going to dip into the paint and place a dot below these red dots that we made. Then you'll switch to the smaller end, dip in the paint, and do a small drag on each side.
Oh, with the smaller end? No, bigger end.
Bigger end for the dot and then smaller end for the drags.
Got it.
Next step, we're gonna take the pink stick and we're gonna use paint color 5. And we're going to place these dots on each of the chalk lines. Once you've put those gold dots, you're going to very carefully take off this middle strip of tape. So you can use the needle tool to kind of pry the little tip up so that you can grab it a little easier, and then just peel off the middle strip. Okay, next step, we're gonna take the pink stylus and we're gonna use paint color 4. We're gonna use the bigger end first. We're going to place a dot, switch to the smaller end, and do a drag. Next step, we're gonna use the pink stylus again with paint color 1. Starting with the bigger end, gonna dip in the paint and place 3 dots, kind of like a pyramid, like that, and then switch to the smaller end, dip in the paint, and do another drag on each side. Okay, next step, we're gonna use the black stick and the pink stylus. And we're gonna use paint color number 2. We're gonna take the black stick first. You're gonna dip it into the paint and place 2 dots next to each other like this. And then you're gonna take the pink stylus, smaller end, dip it in the red paint, and 2 small dots on the side of those. Next up, we're gonna use the yellow stick. And we're gonna use paint color 4. And we are going to put these dots right below these red ones we just made. Next up, we're gonna take the pink stylus. And we're gonna use paint color 5. And we're gonna walk the dots like we practiced. So bigger end of the pink stylus for the first dot, then you'll switch to the smaller end, dip in the paint, and go around.
No way, really?
Next up, we're gonna use the white stylus with paint color 1. And we're once again walking the dots, bigger end of the white for the first dot, then you'll switch to the smaller end, dip in the paint, and go around. Next step, we're going to use the white stylus and the blue stylus. And we're going to use paint color 3. We're going to start with the blue stylus, bigger end, dip in the paint, place a dot like that, and then switch to the white stylus, bigger end to go around.
I know, some of them I do, but some of them don't. Yeah, you have that. I'm uneven.
Okay, next step, we're going to use the pink stylus with paint color 2. We're going to start with the bigger end. You're going to dip in the paint. And you want to make it a bit, you don't want to make it level with our walking dots. You want to make it a bit lower. And you're going to do a drag straight down. Then you're going to switch to the smaller end and do 2 smaller drags on each side.
It's a little bit of everything. It's a little bit of everything.
Next up, we're going to take the yellow stick with paint color 5. And we are going to put these dots right below our seashells. Next up, we're going to use the pink stylus with paint color 3. We're going to use the bigger end, place 1 dot, and then re-dip the bigger end and do a drag around on each side. Next step, we're gonna take the pink stylus with paint color 2. Again, using the bigger end, I'm gonna place 3 dots like this. And then dip again and do a drag on each side. Okay, next step, we're gonna use the blue stylus and the white stylus. We're gonna use the bigger end of both of these tools. And we're using paint color 1. We're gonna start with the blue stylus. We're going to place a dot above or below. And then you're gonna switch to the white stylus, bigger end, and walk the dots around. Okay, next step, we're gonna use the black stick and the blue stylus. And we're using paint color 4. So you're gonna use the black stick for this first dot. And then blue stylus, bigger end, to go around to walk the dots. Okay, next step, we're gonna use the pink stick, the black stick, and the blue stylus. And we're gonna use paint color 2. We're going to start with the pink stick, putting a dot below. And then you're gonna take the black stick, and almost like you're gonna start walking the dots, you're just gonna place 1 on each side, and then take the blue stylus, bigger end, to continue walking the dots. Okay, next step, we're gonna use the white stylus and the pink stylus. And we're gonna use colors 1 and 5. So we're gonna start with the white stylus, bigger end, and paint color 5. And you're going to do a straight drag down. Then you're gonna switch to the smaller end of the white stylus, dip into paint color 1, and walk the dots along the drag on both sides. Then you're gonna take the pink stylus, bigger end, with the gold paint, and do a small swoosh on each side. And then you're gonna switch one more time and dip in the white paint and do dots along.
And that's all done with the white one.
No, white and pink. So I'll repeat the instructions all over again because it's a lot. So the white stylus, bigger end with the gold. Going to do one big drag straight down. Then you switch to the smaller side of the white stylus, dip into the white paint, and dot along the drag we just made. Then you switch to the pink stylus tool, the bigger end, and dip in the gold paint and do a small drag on each side. And then you're going to switch one last time to the smaller end of the pink stylus, dip in the white paint, and do some dots along. And to make it easier, you can do one step at a time for every gap. So you can do that middle swoosh all the way around and then go to the next step and do that all the way around, so you're not constantly switching tools, switching paints. So we are all done with the main mandala design. We're just gonna go over and really quick do a couple overlapping, and then we're gonna take a break to let the snowman, the tree fully dry so that we can continue overlapping. So we're gonna use the black stick and the blue stylus. And we're gonna use paint color 1 and paint color 2. We're gonna start off with the blue stylus, bigger end with paint color 2. And we're gonna overlap these white dots over here, but you're not gonna put it right in the middle of the white dot, you're gonna kind of face it towards the center of our whole mandala design. For the next overlapping step, we're going to use the black stick with paint color 2. And we're going to overlap these gold dots. Again, it's kind of same concept, not right in the middle, but kind of facing towards the center of our mandala. And then for the last overlapping step, we're going to use the black stick again with paint color 1. and we're going to overlap these dark green dots, once again facing towards the center of the mandala. So yeah, that's the last overlapping step. So we're gonna take just a little bit of time. You guys can get up, stretch your legs. Before you do, remember to take off the rest of your tape, okay? So you're gonna take off the other pieces of tape. So second layer of leaves on the Christmas tree. We're gonna use the white stylus, bigger end, with paint color 4. And I like to overlap kind of in between the leaves. So you're not overlapping straight onto the drags, but kind of in between, just to add a little bit of extra color and dimension. So just, you can add as many as you want or as little as you want. Just kind of, yeah. And then if you have a lot of space, like a gap in the middle, you can kind of start it closer in towards the center and kind of fill in that gap. Next step, we're going to add the little scarves to the snowmen. We're going to use the pink stylus, and we're going to use colors 2 and 3. So for the super big snowmen, you're going to use the bigger side of the pink stylus, and then for the smaller snowmen, you're going to use the smaller side of the pink stylus. And you're just going to do 2 little swooshes like this on one side. I like to make the bottom one slightly longer. And then on the other side, just one like this. And then you can alternate colors however you want. Okay, next step, we're gonna use the pink stick and paint colors 1 and 5. And we're going to do this line of dots that's right above our mandala. So you're just going to alternate colors, white, gold, and you can use one side for the gold paint and one side for the white paint so you don't have to keep wiping your tool. And just do that across, but just make sure that you don't like cross the black because we still need to make a row of dots around. So make sure you leave room for like another dot. Okay, next step, we're gonna add the little eyes and buttons to our snowmen. So we're gonna use the pink stylus and the white stylus. So you should have a little container of black paint. That's what we're gonna use. So for the big snowmen, you're gonna use the white stylus, and for the smaller snowmen, you're gonna use the pink stylus. The bigger side is for the eyes, and the smaller side is for the buttons. So just 2 dots on the head. Make sure to leave some room for a little nose. And then also press very lightly because the snowmen are probably still pretty wet. So just very lightly so that you don't smudge it or mess it up. Next, we're gonna do the noses for our snowmen. We're gonna use the pink stylus and paint color 6. You're gonna use the bigger side for the larger snowmen and the smaller side for the small snowmen, and you're just gonna do a straight drag. You're gonna start in the middle or a little off middle, and then just drag it out. Next, we're gonna do the little star on top of the tree. We're gonna use the blue stylus and our little needle tool. And we're gonna use paint color 5. Using the blue stylus bigger end, you're gonna place a dot right at the tip of our tree. Then you're gonna take the little needle tool and just drag out some points. I like to think of it as like one going straight up for the head, two like this for legs, and then two more for arms, so that you kind of space it out. And you can use the blue stylus, bigger and smaller end, some bigger ornaments and smaller ornaments, and just scatter them around on your tree. You can do as many or as little as you'd like. And again, just place lightly, because some of the overlapping swishes are probably still a little bit wet, but if you press lightly, it should be fine. The next step, we're gonna do the snowflakes. So just scatter the snowflakes, and then I put like little white dots, kind of like snow, just in between them to kind of fill in that space. We're gonna use the white stylus and the little needle tool. I also recommend doing one snowflake at a time, because by the time you get to the last snowflake, it'll probably already be dried up and it's gonna be hard to drag out the little points. So white stylus, bigger end. You're gonna place a dot, and then with the smaller end of the white stylus, you're gonna drag out those main points. And then with the needle tool, you'll drag out the itty bitty points. And feel free to dip your little needle tool into the paint if it's not dragging from the snowflake. Once you guys have finished up with the snowflakes, you're gonna do the last step. Can you believe it? The border of dots around. You're gonna use the pink stick with paint colors 2 and 4. Once again, alternating colors, just going all the way around.
The big end, you said?
No, it's
Oh,
just
the
the
sticks.
rock.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So right on the line?
Yes. Once you guys have finished the border, you can add a little touch of white dots on the inside, just to kind of give it a little flavor. But that's optional, so that's up to you. But yeah, so take your time to finish up the border, the snowflakes, and that's it. You guys are done.
Thank you.
And the little white dots are done with what?
The yellow stylus. Yellow stylus, smaller end.
Super, thank you.
Just remember to erase your chalk lines before you guys seal it. Don't do it now because the paint is still wet, but like tonight or even tomorrow, right before you seal it, just take a wet Q-tip or a wet paper towel and just wipe away all the visible chalk marks.
Oh, I forgot noses on my snowman.
That was the six.
Half my snowmen have. Oh.
really good snowflakes.
Mhm.